AJ, the other thing that I was going to ask you was going back to the experiences and the connection that we try to go or get here in this lifetime or this perceived time span.
Yeah.
When the body does die, we don't quite make it. Do we, when we reincarnate, do we come back with the experience of the positive experiences from what we endeavour to do and did before and bring it in?
Well, I'm going to shatter.
Carrying on our program.
I'm going to shatter another one of your cherished beliefs. Yeah.
I don't have a church belief.
A cherished belief, one that we feel quite. Yeah, I'm sorry about my Australian slang that I thought was short and everything. And here, none of you, aside from my soulmate, has actually ever reincarnated. And in fact, the current teachings of reincarnation that are on the planet are all false. Now I can go into the detail of how they're false, but that's pretty confronting for many of you, yes, because many of you come from this investigative New Age sort of background where you've been drawn to the teachings of reincarnation, and I can certainly explain to you in every single case what's actually happening, if you wish, but it can be a very long discussion as a result of 50 people in a room. But I can give you some general overviews of what actually does occur, if I can. The way God's constructed the universe is that there are dimensional places of existence, as you probably are aware. Most people are aware there are dimensional places of existence. The Earth currently resides in the first dimensional place of existence. And then there are dimensions, the second, the third, and so forth, that we have created actually through our progression. People before you have actually created through their own progression in love. Every one of these dimensional places is based on the condition of love. In other words, the lower the place, the worse condition of love it is. Right? The higher the place, the better condition of love it is. I have described all of this in a presentation that I've done that I'd suggest that you listen to, that is called Secrets of the Universe. Overview of Divine Truth, Secrets of the Universe. There are, I think it was dated September 2009. September 2009. And there was a whole day of a presentation, and then the next day was all the questions that people in the audience had asked, very similar questions to yourself, actually. So there is this dimensional places of existence. Now, to reincarnate, the soul, remember I said that the soul splits when it incarnates. Well, for the soul to reincarnate, it has to actually progress all the way through these dimensions and get to the point right up here where it amalgamates again. Because it's only a complete soul that can reincarnate. Now, historically on this planet, very few people have ever done it. Right? And I was the first, in fact. When I say I, our soul, Mary and I's soul, was the first to accomplish that state. Now, that then brings a huge amount of questions, doesn't it? Like, why have I had a certain experience? It feels like I am a reincarnation. Why? I've got spirits telling me about reincarnation. I've got people in the spirit world saying that there is such a thing as reincarnation. And there is an explanation for every single one of those things. And in fact, I have found through discussions with the spirits, it's been fantastic because we can actually talk to the spirits involved in many of the cases and work out why they believe in such a belief and actually help them see that such a belief is not loving nor logical, actually. Right? But that is, I have an actual YouTube presentation, again, about reincarnation. 4 hours of discussion on YouTube. I think it's called it's just called Reincarnation, I think. The Human Soul Reincarnation. Yeah.
I don't know if it's on YouTube yet.
I might not be on YouTube yet.
There's a sound file on the website.
Oh, the sound files of that talk are available. MP3 files are available on the Divine Truth website, www.divinetruth.com, under seminars, and you'll probably find it in 2008 around that time frame, or 2009.
There's one in 1999.
Sorry?
There's one in 1899.
Yeah, there's actually 2 presentations on reincarnation. In those presentations, and I've actually written a document which you can also download, it's 100 pages to read, about reincarnation and all of the different investigations you can do to see whether reincarnation is actually true or not. So my suggestion is to have a look at those things, rather than me going into a long-winded discussion right now as to, how that works. However, I want to say to everyone present, I understand that damages or severely impacts, shall we say, some long-held, cherished belief systems. However, this is what I'm getting at right back at the start of this discussion with you. We need to be humble enough to actually accept the truth and not our believed or perceived truth. And there is a way to prove the truth to you if you're willing to completely be open to investigation. Now, what often happens is the way that we discovered reincarnation as an idea or concept is through the process of investigation. And then what happens is it seems to be very much what happens in our own life, or we see it or observe it in the lives of others. And then we hold on to that belief as true without looking at what the alternate explanations might be for such events occurring. And what I put to you is that mankind is very selective when it comes to belief systems. We are not open in our investigations. We actually feel a belief system and conceive it to be possibly true. Often we have a spirit with us saying, yeah, it's true, yeah, it's true, believe it, when that spirit has no idea whether it's true or not. And so we are heavily influenced by our own emotions and the emotions of others, whether we can see them or not see them, as to whether something is true. My suggestion is, instead of doing that, be far more open to more thorough investigation than just closing your mind once you get a certain belief that you find quite comforting to your own soul. Generally, when we are feeling a feeling of comfort about a belief, it's an indication that we also have fear associated with why we accept that belief. And when we address those fears, we are often open to completely different beliefs, which we can investigate more thoroughly. So probably a good time to actually finish it. We've gone on probably an hour longer than I expected. But what I would recommend to you is this. Investigate very thoroughly every belief. Do not put it in the I firmly believe this is true column of your life until you have experienced it and investigated every aspect of the experience. Does that make sense to you? That would make total logical sense to do that, surely, but also it would be the most thorough and thing to do with regard to our belief systems. The reason why I recommend that is this. The problem with belief systems on earth is many belief systems result in a lot of pain for a lot of people when they are false. Pain is the result of false belief, false emotional positions that we hold on to for a lot of our lives. We don't need to have so much pain, but to not have so much pain, we need to stop accepting beliefs unless we have personally experienced them and investigated them properly. Yeah? The big problem that many of us have had all of our lives, you think about it, even in our childhoods, we were often forced into a belief that was told to us as true, which later on we came to feel wasn't. And the process of forcing a belief has caused a lot of the trauma and pain in our own life. So my suggestion is only accept belief systems that are actually proven through a process of investigation where you are thorough, both emotionally and with connecting with God in the way that I've mentioned, so that you can actually come to see whether they are true or not. Do not think that just because you feel it to be true that it is. because your feelings can be manipulated by other people, particularly other people you cannot see. So it's very important for you to be much more thorough in your investigation of truth. And that's what I would like to leave you with, to actually have the desire to be thorough in your investigation of truth. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully when you do that, you'll enjoy the process of discovery. But also, once the truth does actually enter you through this method of receiving love from God and comparing that with what happens with truth, you will actually know what the truth is through your personal experience, and you will not need a mediator or anyone else to tell you what it is. Now, it's handy sometimes when somebody tells you what it is, so I'm not saying don't listen to them, but I am saying that it has to eventually be a personal experience before you will firmly believe something to be true inside of yourself. And that's what I would like to leave you with. Our next discussion will probably be more about spirit entities and their effect on our lives. And I'm thinking our last discussion might be a lot about sexuality, actually, and how that influences spirituality, because I feel many of you are involved in pseudo spirituality in the guise of sexual expression. And so I'd like to discuss that with you as well. And that's the general flow, depending on yourselves and what you would like to discuss in the future if you want to come.